it's just this incredible thing that we all get to be involved in, where we are helping guys every day.
Hey, welcome to the Men of Iron podcast. We're on our final episode for 2024, and we've just had an incredibly impactful year. And with me today, I have Ryan to speak into the impact that he has seen from his seat, and what does that look like as we reflect on this year, and then what is that going into in 25?
And I'll tell you what, 24 has been a good year for Men of Iron. We've been telling people pretty openly, like it was a challenging year for Men of Iron. There's no question. But I think through those challenges, we've seen God do some pretty incredible things. I mean, I think probably big picture, one of the things that is crystal clear around Men of Iron is that God is moving, God is at work. 100%, he's kind of like getting us to look at things and evaluate things and try to see where he's going and what he's doing. And we're doing our best, I think, in-house here to be aware of where God is leading us, where he's asking us to go. Mm-hmm. But through this year, again, like we've had the highest year of impact ever. So the numbers on that is like we've impacted around 2,500 guys this year. And if sometimes people ask, like, what is impact? Well, that's like individual man who has engaged with one of our products or services. A lot of those guys are engaged in mentorships. A lot of those guys are downloading our free resources. So we have a devotional that just came out, Family Restored, that is doing very well. If you haven't had a chance to check that out, maybe we can get a link in the description. I think you'll be the one to do that.
We can do that. Yes, we can absolutely do that. Yeah.
So we'll get a link in there so you can click it. But we're having a lot of success with that. We're finding it's been very helpful to different guys. Mm-hmm. We rolled out a couple new programs, which has not been done at Men of Iron for a bit. Mm-hmm. So we retooled kind of our flagship small group resource called A Man's Game Plan. We had several churches running that over the fall, and they've really enjoyed it, and they've seen a lot of fruit come out of it. It's just a basic, like, hey, what does it look like as a man to thrive in your core five, your faith, family, friends, fitness, and finances? And then how can you evaluate how you're doing, and then also set a goal and ask somebody in your group to hold you accountable to that goal. So it's very simple, but a lot of times it's steps that we as men don't tend to pursue. And because of that, we're seeing a lot of growth come out of it. So I'm excited about the new products we're rolling out. A Man's Family, another small group resource, just came out. I'm excited to see what kind of fruit that bears. So we've had a ton of impact. We've rolled out some new resources. We are pursuing a lot of new church partnerships. And of course, like, we're collecting tons of stories, which is you, I think.
Yeah, that it is. I mean, yeah, capturing a lot of testimonies. There's just been a handful this year that really come to mind. Zach Stamp, who's been on the podcast with us recently, his story was just really incredible. Just to see his journey from being in a really, really dark place to transforming into this part where he's essentially in school to be a pastor now. In seminary school. So like, it's really
I didn't
cool.
know that. That's awesome.
So it's really cool to just see the fact that, like, if you go watch his story on YouTube, the fact that he went from this place where he was nearly suicidal. I mean, he was suicidal. Yeah. And to be at this place where he just wants to give back and spread the gospel. It's amazing to see that. So that's just like one story there. But I mean, there's so many others, and be sure to check those out on our YouTube channel. And I'm just excited to see what we got coming in the future for 25, just knowing that there's so much more out there that we haven't even, been able to capture yet to tell these stories of impact. And I think too, just like looking into 25, what does that look like to you, Ryan, in your seat as far as how we reach more men?
Okay, I'm going to back you up. So we're definitely going to talk about 25. Yeah. I promise we'll get there.
Yeah.
You are the guy that goes out and shoots the stories.
Yes.
So like, you're talking about Zach as a compelling story. There's no question. Like, the story in Zach's life is essentially he was in a very dark place. He got paired up with a mentor really at exactly the right time. That mentor helped him in a really significant way.
Yep.
And now he's engaged in mentoring other men. So really, like, that's the kind of story we want to highlight at Men of Iron, where a guy that's in a dark place, a difficult place, gets connected to a guy that's just a couple seasons ahead of him. That guy's investing in him, calling him up, holding him accountable. It just changes his life, I think, entirely. And now he's giving back and keeping that cycle spinning. Is very exciting. That is what we do at Men of Iron. Obviously, the Holy Spirit is involved in that process. Obviously, God is moving in that process. All glory goes to God.
Yeah.
What are other stories? Because you have a unique eyes on this because you go in, you ask interview questions, you get to talk off screen. So like, you guys have to check out our impact videos that we've done this past year just to highlight different stories. But you as the guy going in to shoot these, like what are some of the most compelling stories you've seen?
Well, more recently we were in Tampa as a team and we got to capture Sean's testimony. Yeah. What's really unique about his story is that he got connected with Men of Iron through Discipline Restored and then also ran into, well, let's back up. So Scott introduced Men of Iron to his church and he went to look into it a little further and found our free devotion, Discipline Restored. And then once he started doing that, he started reading devotions with his daughter and his wife and then the rest of his kids. And then it turned into something where they were connecting as a family through devotions and then ultimately, changing his life in that as well. And he would then go and introduce that to his men's group. And then they would start, taking part into that Discipline Restored devotion. So it was the kind of that ripple trickle down effect that we talk about, within his family, but then the ripple effect in his community and at his church. So I think that was really cool to see how something as simple as a free devotion had such an impact on not only his life, but those around him, and it ultimately made a huge impact on his home life with his wife, with his kids, his daughters, deep into devotions now, and just having an impact on her community and her school. So I think that story this year was really compelling. It's coming out soon. We captured another one in Florida.
One more point on Sean. Yeah. When we were down in the Tampa Bay region, we got to see Sean leading a table group for a small group in his church with another group of guys. So again, it's a pretty powerful story of a guy who got connected with the Men of Iron. Obviously, God's moving, working his life. Holy Spirit's revealing things to him. He's walking through that devotion, makes a change in his life, makes a change in his family's life, makes a change in his church's community. And now, again, giving back, investing in other guys. I think you have a couple clips of him actually doing that, sitting with that group of guys, like investing in them and helping to lead them. So again, it's just this incredible thing that we all get to be involved in, where we are helping guys every day. And when we're effective, when God moves, they join in the mission and help to grow the mission. So it's super cool. Sorry, I interrupted you.
Well, no,
several times so far.
I love it. I think that's great because you can speak into this really well. And I think too, so another story with Tampa was Sam, who got connected through Equilibrium. And the big thing with him is he felt like he was always up and down in life, up and down, on that roller coaster ride. And then once he became a part of, or took part in Equilibrium and just being able to sort of let his guard down with the guys there, he was able to really introduce prayer into his life. And by introducing prayer into his life, he found more balance in his life. And that's really, which is interesting because Equilibrium with that balance, right? That kind of metaphor there. But I think that was really cool how in this season of life that he's in currently, have just coming off of, 2 hurricanes in the Tampa region, he could just be devastated and broken. Like his restaurant got destroyed. He could just really have basically just given up completely. But he's, instead of doing that, through having been a part of Equilibrium and realizing how to lean in on God and pray, that he can actually sort of weather this storm that he's in life right now, which is super cool because prior to that, he probably would have been in that roller coaster. Like, my life, this is just a mess. There's nothing, everything's crumbling. The storm destroyed my entire, business, like all those things. So what's really unique and cool is how something as simple as Equilibrium, and praying has allowed him to have that balance that he's been looking for in his life. And his family sees that.
So Equilibrium is our retreat experience. Sam was on that retreat. Sam actually got baptized like immediately on that retreat. That was like the next step he wanted to take. So we have a video of Sam like in the pool, getting baptized, making a declaration, putting a line in the sand, like, hey, I'm here to serve Jesus. That's the only thing I want to do with my life. What's very cool about that story is that Brian was one of the guys that was helping to baptize Sam. Brian since now lives in Maryland, and Brian's been in conversation with Men of Iron about how can we get Men of Iron involved at our church. So again, like this ripple effect of impact. Again, I think God is initiating it, and Men of Iron gets to be a part of it. So Sam, Equilibrium made a big impact on his life. That impact just continues to roll. So we're so encouraged by it. Yeah, it's super cool.
Hey guys, I hope you're enjoying this episode of the Men of Iron podcast. God has given Men of Iron a vision to change a culture one man at a time, and we cannot do that without your partnership. Our financial partners are not bystanders or accessories to the vision. They're equal partners in the work God is accomplishing. Join the movement of God by generously investing in his work. Become a monthly partner and commit to a minimum of $27 a month and equip a man with the tools needed to know God and know their purpose for 1 year. Monthly giving creates sustainability for our organization as it works to cover regular operating costs, allowing us to dream and create new opportunities for impact. As an Iron Partner, you will receive exclusive connections to God's work throughout the year with special communications, events, and touch points. Find out more at menofiron.org/donate.
Well, and there's also, if you were at our dinner earlier this year, like we had Marlon's story released, and that was a very a deep story, right? There was a lot to unpack in his story, and the gist of it essentially is, there were a couple times where he and his wife had basically parted ways, right? Mm-hmm. So like one time he basically just wanted to go out and drink, party, do all the wrong things with his friends, and just basically told his wife, "Get out of here, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm doing my thing." And they got back together, and then essentially, a month after their daughter was born, it's same kind of deal. Like he was in an affair, and so they essentially parted ways again. They never fully divorced, but they constantly took big breaks. Yeah. And my goodness, the journey that she had to go through for herself on top of his journey was really impactful. And his story, and also her testimony through our podcast is on YouTube. Definitely worth checking out. And it's cool to see how through the difficult times that they had together, I mean, really dark moments, the fact that once he got a part of a mentorship and he could kind of have someone else speaking into his life and seeing the things that he was, missing out on or missing in front of him, to allow him to give him ways to correct the course, and ultimately made him essentially a level father. Instead of this up and down all over the place, I want to chase this, chase that. Like all of a sudden, he's that level father that she had always been, or a husband that she's been looking for, that her kids needed. They're reading devotions together. His daughter spoke in on the story about how, when he reads devotions, it's just like, an amazing time for her to connect with him and even his son. And the cool thing is too, is like all the journey that they've gone through, all the rough roads and stuff, like they've just had twins. So like there's now, 4 kids in their family, and he's continually, excited about what we're doing here and continuing to, have impact in his community. He's working on sort of that, mentorship piece for himself on who he could, seek out and stuff. But like, it's just really cool to see how so many of these stories are different, but there's so many similarities too in this restoration, and how that, when you have God at the center of that, what a difference that can make in their lives, and just seeing that continued impact throughout his family in the future here.
And you can check out that story on Marlon. Marlon's been on the podcast a couple times. Like it's just, again, an incredible story of how God is at work in his life. Yeah. His life did not go the way it looked like it was going to go because he got connected to the right people. Men of Iron gets to be a part of that story. He had a mentor. That mentor helped him in a significant way. That's why I love what we do, because we are actually, like, Men of Iron exists to change a culture one man at a time. We talk about it all the time. Chad and I, like, we're on that journey. We talk about mentorship ourselves. We are not experts. We don't have this thing completely perfect. I'm not a perfect man. Chad's not a perfect man.
No, I'm definitely not. No.
But all of us can benefit from being connected to another man that's just 1 or 2 seasons ahead of us, that can invest in us and help us. So at Men of Iron, we want you to be a man that knows God and knows your purpose. We know that everybody is at a different spot in that journey, but we also know that we can help you along on that journey. And these stories are just a few of those kinds of stories. And so again, like we've had an incredible year of impact. We're super encouraged by it. We're very excited about what's ahead. I guess I cut you off earlier talking about what's ahead. We might as well.
I was jumping the gun.
Dive into that a little bit. One of the things that we see as an opportunity is we know that we're really good at our mentorship. And again, God's at work, and I'm not going to take that away from him. But we know our mentorship has been very effective. We regularly see the life change that a man experiences when he's engaged in it. We're really excited about the new small group resources that we have. We're really excited about the church partnerships that we have, just because we're constantly seeing how much of a change can happen in one guy's life. And again, like I think we're highlighting it in these stories. When there is a change in one man's life, it pretty much never stops there. Like there's always this ripple effect where like that guy becomes healthy, his marriage gets stronger, his family is healthier, his church benefits from it, his community is stronger because of it. So when we say we're changing a culture one man at a time. Like we believe in that. We regularly see it. So what we want to do is we want to get in front of more people and we want to get into new regions. And what we want to do this year is spend a little bit of time just making sure we get that as sharp as we possibly can. So we are intentionally expanding north out of our headquarters here in Manheim, Pennsylvania, north out of the region where we are, and expanding the partnerships that we have. So as we move north, we believe we're going to find new investors. We believe we're going to find new church partners. We believe we're going to find new men that need mentorship, that need to know God and know their purpose. And so that's kind of our key goal for this coming year, is to get this expansion piece right. Because I believe in 26 and beyond, we're going to start expanding into new regions. Again, not because we want to make Men of Iron bigger, but because we want to make God's kingdom bigger, and we want to change culture. Like all the stats prove that when a guy becomes healthy and strong and spiritually wise, like it makes a huge difference in all the lives around him. So I'm very passionate about what we do. I'm very passionate about driving this expansion effort. If you're in that Harrisburg region, like north out of Manheim, it's not just Harrisburg, I suppose, but reach out to us. We'd love to get connected with you. We'd love to talk to you about how we could help you to know God, know your purpose. We'd love to talk to you about how we can partner with you, whatever's going on, to make a difference in your community. The other thing we're going to do is we are setting out to hit like the highest level impact we've ever had. So this year we did 2,500. We've impacted 2,500 men. In 25, we're looking to impact 3,500 men, which is a pretty significant thing for us to pursue. We believe we have the tools and the talent that we need to be able to do that. So if you guys at least partner with us in praying for us in that mission, if you know somebody that could benefit from being connected to Men of Iron, please get them connected. Maybe it's you. Connect with us. Let us know. You can leave a comment here. You can send us a message. We'd love to, again, just partner with you on whatever journey you're already on. And then the other part of that too is like we just want to continue to expand our investor base. We need help to do this mission. Like there's no question. And we need people that will invest in us. We know that when you invest in Men of Iron, we amplify and multiply the difference. And we just invite you to be part of that. So there's always a link, I think, in our videos to become an Iron Partner. And what an Iron Partner does is just invest at least $27 a month to help change a culture one man at a time. And we know that when you give us that $27, we amplify that investment. We make way more than $27 worth of impact. And you can see it in stories like Marlon, like Sean, like Sam. We didn't even talk about Kevin, but like there's just incredible stories that we know are benefiting from these investments. So I'm excited for that, man. So that's just a little bit of what we're looking at. I guess on top of that, I keep thinking of things. We're going to continue to expand our resources. That has been a huge initiative for us this year in 24. We're already seeing the fruit of that. And so we're going to continue putting out resources that lead guys to thrive in their core 5. So some of the things you'll see from us is a couple more 6 to 8 week small group programs focused on a specific piece of our core 5. So I alluded to it earlier. We rolled out a man's game plan in 24. It's kind of an introductory series. We just rolled out a man's family. We are striving to roll out a man's faith this coming year in 25. And a man's finances this coming year in 25. And the way I look at that is we really, truly believe that when you thrive in your core 5, it makes a huge difference in every aspect of your life. So we want to provide the resources, the materials that you need to be able to do that. And so we're just going to continue rolling out those products and resources. If you want to know more about that, you can check out our website. There's lots of links on there to get you connected.
I was say, where can guys go to get signed up and check?
Yeah, I mean, I think we can put a link to that in the description. But on top of it, like you can go to our store page and you can see what we have to offer. There's a lot of good going on, and I'm really excited about how we're building on that and expanding that. And I think what we're going to find in this coming year is that we're getting sharper, more effective, and really being set up to just continue to reach more and more men and continue changing a culture one man at a time. It's very exciting.
I think it is. And I think too, something that I want to mention as well is just having this platform with our podcast, right? And we've had a lot of guys reach out, just, looking to get connected in a group, looking for a mentor, or wants to be a mentor and find a protege. And I think it's really it's been inspiring to us to see that through this platform we were able to, reach men in that way, and that's from all over the country. So it's just cool that guys are out there hurting. And, and with what we're doing here, we want to be that resource for guys to be able to find a place to either one connect, and like you mentioned, with all the other resources we have to offer, right? That guys can find something for them. Do you want to speak into the anything else coming in 25 that we should know about, or just anything?
I see you hyping the podcast.
Yeah.
Just for what it's worth. And because you are the podcast audience, we've had a 400% increase in subscribers, which is huge for us, and a 600% increase in watch time. So what that tells us is we are reaching more men. We know that you are one of those men. Sometimes we reach women as well. But we also know that you're staying engaged with the content that we're putting out, and that means a lot to us. So that what that says to me is that we're reaching the right people, and what we're doing, you're finding valuable. And so if you have appreciated the Men of Iron podcast this year, please let us know in the comments.
Absolutely.
That would be fantastic. It'd be great to hear from you. Maybe you're new to the podcast. Maybe something sticks out to you that you've appreciated. Leave that in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. And tell your friends about the podcast. We are trying every week to put out something that you will find valuable, that you'll find meaningful. And so, if you have feedback or ideas, let us know. I'll tell Chad to do it, and it'll be awesome.
I got you.
So it had a lot of growth there. So you talk about other things in 25, man. I think I've hit the big things. Like we want to get that expansion piece right.
Yeah.
This year is a year to focus on strengthening and sharpening, because I do think in 26 we are really going to start ramping up, reaching more men, and we just want to make sure that when we do that, we're effective in it. And so I'm excited about this northern expansion out of our headquarters. I think we are going to meet a lot of new guys. I think we're going to make a lot of new partnerships. And I think that we are going to continue to change a culture one man at a time. So that means a lot to me. Keep your eyes peeled for new resources. I've already highlighted that. Yeah. And keep your eyes peeled for new stories. We're always capturing the stories that highlight the difference that Men of Iron has made. Obviously, the Holy Spirit is moving and working in people's lives. God gets the glory. But it's just incredible how much Men of Iron gets to be a part of that story. And I would say we're encouraged and we're excited about what's ahead.
Yeah. It's Ryan, it's been a pleasure sitting here with you and just kind of hearing about the impact you've seen and what you're excited for in the future, and just the vision that you're bringing to Men of Iron. And again, if you have any questions, concerns, if you want to be a mentor, protege, feel free to reach out to us. We'd definitely love to help get you connected in that way. And again, just thank you for tuning in to the podcast this year, and we'll see you next year and on the next podcast.
Thanks for listening to the Men of Iron podcast. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share. At Men of Iron, we exist to change a culture one man at a time, and we'd love to have you partner with us. So go to menofiron.org to see how you can get involved, or donate at menofiron.org/donate.